Awesome. So, fellas, what we're going to be doing is going over once again the top 5 mindset tips when it comes to, losing body fat, or I like to say just your health and fitness journey, because there might be some times where you're focusing on losing weight, losing body fat. Other times you're focusing on building some more strength, maybe other times you're focusing on a specific performance, right? Like I have a half marathon coming up. So like my goals right now are just, preparing myself for that, getting the lungs, right? I'm not a big cardio guy at all. So I'm preparing myself for that. So regardless of the goals, I want to make sure that you guys focus a lot on the mindset. We talk a lot about the mindset inside of our coaching program. Ali, you happen to just mention about, these amazing business goals coming true. And you're also working on, mindset tips and tricks with your kids about gratitude, which I absolutely love. So this is going to be good for everybody. So what I'm going to do is just do my handy dandy whiteboard that I truly love on these Zoom chats and kind of show you guys um, the top 5, right? So I'll go over top 5 mindset tips for, we'll say, for fitness. We'll say for health and fitness. And what we're going to do is kind of go over kind of like an overview for, obviously, if you're not, into the mindset coaching phases, or you're, haven't been doing any kind of mindset practices. This is going to be a good overview. This is going to be kind of broad, but at the same time, enough to give you, I like to say, flavor in your dish to get you on the right track. And most importantly, help you stay on the right track. So the first one that we're going to go over right now, and I'm going to just kind of type this out and then kind of share it. This is going to be fully commit. Okay. So your commitment level in terms of your health and fitness goals, it needs to be a priority before I can even talk about anything else, right? About the mindset, before I can talk anything else about nutrition, workouts, anything like that. It needs to be a commitment level on your end. Nobody else, right? Like obviously you guys invested to a coach, right? Where, hey, we can then help you in terms of your reaching your health and fitness goals, kind of taking off the pressure off your end, right? So that way you don't have to really worry too much. You just kind of have to show up. But regardless, there was some points in your life where you had to make a decision. Now, regardless if you're focusing on a plan, a program, anything like that, the first thing that you need to do is, once again, make a decision. And sometimes that is facing yourself in the mirror and just literally having a heart-to-heart conversation with yourself and say, I'm doing this. I know so many guys that in the beginning of the year, they start off so hot, right? They're like, oh, this is the year I'm going to make the change, right? So what do? They do endless amounts of cardio, cut out their carbs, cut out their sugar, all this different stuff, right? Intermittent fasting, the list goes on and on and on and on. And then by typically this time in March, they're, either head first in a dozen donuts, or they completely just gave up, right? And that happens. And maybe that even happened to yourself as you're kind of listening to me talk right now, where think back, maybe years and years and years of trial and error, where it's like you got that vibe of, hey, I'm feeling motivated. It's the new year. This is the year I'm going to make the change. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really last. And that's why I always like to say motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. And what's the best way to be disciplined? Well, it's having that commitment level with yourself. And honestly, sometimes it means you're either burning bridges with the past, or it means you're just diving in head first, right? Regardless, it's a commitment level. And it's something where you have to take ownership, and I love saying that, like, as a man, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And treat this like a relationship with your spouse. So if you're married and you're listening to this right now, or you have a significant other, like, think about it. It's like times are going to be hard, obviously. Nobody is going to have a just constantly lose weight every single week and everything's going smooth. Like, it doesn't work that way. I mention all the time that fat loss is not linear, right? Like, there's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, there's going to be some plateaus, but also on that journey, you're going to be faced with so much adversity. That may be challenges at work, challenges at home, that might be, injuries, sicknesses, anything like that. But regardless, you need to treat this like a marriage, honestly. Where it's like, hey, if me and my wife are ever in an argument, you think I'm just going to say, well, hey, pack up your bags and kick her out, and like that's it and get a divorce? Absolutely not. It's like, like any marriage, you work through things, right? You go through and obviously making sure that you're in the right place of mind, and you have the commitment level saying, hey, I'm marrying you, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life, like this is my commitment, and obviously we say our vows, etc. So we go through the hardships together. But in any relationship, right, whether you're married or not, you are growing together, right? Typically through the hard times, not so much the easy times. You're growing together through the hard times. So, once again, let that sink in, because your relationship with your health and fitness journey, you need to be fully committed to that. Okay. Now, let's go to number two. Number two is outcome versus process. And this is something that I really want you guys to really think about this as we progress. So the outcome is typically the goals. Hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to get off my blood pressure meds. I want to get off my cholesterol meds. And everybody's so focused on the outcome, right? That's why you decide to make that commitment in the first place. But you need to understand this. It's more so about the process that you should be focusing on, and we're going to talk more specifics about that, rather than just the outcome. Because at the end of the day, nobody can forecast the future. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You might lose over 20 pounds if your goal is to lose 20 pounds. You might lose 18 pounds if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, right? You might have more energy and more confidence, and you don't even care about losing the 20 pounds regardless, right? It is just a goal. It's out there. It's something to try your best to obtain, but nothing to obsess and stress over. And I know a lot of guys, they obsess and they stress over it, meaning that, hey, here's the plan to follow to help me lose the 20 pounds. But if something doesn't go my way, next thing you know, it's like, oh man, I'm never going to reach this goal. And they get upset, they get depressed, everything about it. So instead, you need to focus on the process. Okay. What is the process? It's the journey. I tell you guys all the time, don't rush the process. Instead, trust the process. And there's some specifics when it comes to doing this properly. Specifically, one that Bill always says, is check the boxes. And so if you're on your health and fitness journey, and let's just say, hey, you know that if you're tracking your macros, you're doing your workouts, getting plenty of steps in, drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of sleep in, check the boxes, right? And have that commitment level that every single day, it's going to be more so a progress over perfection. Nobody got fat overnight. Nobody got fat in a week. Nobody got fat in a month. It took time. So don't expect for you to lose all the body fat in a week, in a month, etc. It's going to take time. So what's going to help you in that time delay is you focusing on the process. And once again, that process, it's a mindset shift. It really is. And it comes down to, what is my daily habits? I like to say my non-negotiables. If there are some things that I can do, some habits that I can focus on that's going to get me to the outcome, then great. I don't have to worry and stress about the outcome anymore. Instead, what I can do is focus more on just being consistent each and every day. And a couple things that I personally like to do, obviously, I've been on my health and fitness journey for plenty of time, but I still do the same things today because it's what got me in shape. Keyword, right? That's a golden nugget I want everybody to hear. What got me in shape today, I still do today. Nobody, this is for the guys that say that carbohydrates are the enemy, they make you fat. And then what happens? They cut out their carbohydrates, they lose 15 pounds of water weight, and then they say, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and eat my carbohydrates again because I already lost the 15 pounds. What happens? They regain the weight right back. This isn't rocket science. Okay. So what gets you in shape, you should learn how to make that a lifestyle change. You should learn how to make that a daily habit, because it's going to keep you in shape and maintain that success, maintain those results. So some things I like to do is I focus on daily push-ups, daily steps, daily sit-ups, also a daily protein goal. That's it, right? Like a few key things I do each and every day. Sure, I would love to be able to sleep 7 hours every single night, but with my schedule and my, craziness, I can't. Sometimes it's like 6 hours, right? I try my best though to aim for 7. Sometimes I can't drink a gallon of water a day. Sometimes it's only half a gallon. That's okay. I don't lift weights every single day. You know, I focus obviously on resistance training several times a week, but once again, I'm focusing on my daily habits, right? What are my daily habits that work for me? Push-ups, steps, sit-ups, protein. I keep it very, very simple, okay? Now, as we progress, let's go to number two here. Excuse me, number three. Number three is going to be start fresh every day. And this is something that's very important that, once again, I want you guys to hone in on and understand, okay? And if you guys are just joining the chat or watching this on Facebook, we're going over the top 5 mindset tips for your health and fitness journey. So number one, to recap, you got to be fully committed. Number two is outcome versus the process. And number three is start fresh every single day. So what does that mean exactly? Well, here's the thing. Nobody's going to be perfect at all. Nobody is, right? There's plenty of times where I mess up, plenty of times where I don't track my macros, plenty of times where, I'm injured, I might be missing out on my workouts. It happens. But what I personally do is I make sure that each and every day I start fresh. And before I start fresh with actually the habits of working on my health and fitness goals, I start fresh with the right mindset. And how I personally like to do that is having grace for myself. Meaning that if I went out last night, right, like it's pretty much going to be like how it is tonight, actually, I can say this. Because every Friday night, me and my wife, we either go get sushi or we go to steakhouse and I smash. I eat way too much, right? And it happens. But you know what I don't do? I don't wake up tomorrow and gag myself and try to throw up and, eat next to nothing and do a bunch of cardio to try to outdo it. That's having an unhealthy relationship with food. So what I do is I just have grace for myself. I say, you know what? I probably should have been a little bit more mindful. I probably should have not had so many, California rolls. But at the end of the day, guess what? I did. There's nothing we can do about it. So I'm going to start fresh today and just get right back on track. Now, with that being said, it's also having the right mindset of the 1% better mentality. And I really want you guys to understand, as treat it like this. If, let's say, every single day you're blessed with a new opportunity to say, hey, you need to be just a little bit better, not 100% better, not, 50% better, just 1% better than who you were yesterday, right? And if you don't, guess what? Like, lights don't turn on tomorrow, like you don't get another day to live. How different do you think you would be, and how committed would you be on your health and fitness journey if that was your mindset? So I encourage you guys and challenge you guys, start making that mind shift mentally with yourself. And it's a simple conversation. What can I do today to wake up and say, what did I do yesterday? And how do I be a little bit better? Maybe that's a little bit more steps. Maybe that's, tracking my macros more. Maybe that's also just sharing more love and, affection out to others. Maybe that's trying to be more positive. Maybe that's working on my mindset in terms of like gratitude or meditation, anything like that. When it comes down to health and fitness, don't think about just physical habits. Think about mental, emotional, and spiritual habits. So maybe that's, hey, instead of you reading one page in the Bible, right? Maybe you're reading 2 pages. So it's like simple things like that, that if we can progress with over time, I promise you, within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year from now, you're going to be a completely different person, not just physically, but mentally as well. Now let's go into number 4. Number 4 is by far my favorite, and this is track your progress and celebrate your wins. So now, if you're not somebody that is involved inside of our coaching program, so maybe you're watching this right now inside of our Facebook group and you're just on the outside looking in, which is okay. You need to start doing this. Track your progress and celebrate your wins. At the end of the day, the reason why I stress so much about tracking your progress is because if you're just throwing spaghetti up on the wall and hoping and praying something sticks, you're always going to be doing that for the rest of your life. And it's going to be this never ending yo-yo effect of lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, no consistency. And you don't learn anything about your body type and you don't learn anything about your trends. So it's like everybody's eventually going to hit a stall and a plateau. But when you know about your body type, you know about, your nutritional habits, your training habits, hydrational habits, because you're tracking your progress, you can then be better educated as to when and how to make adjustments and how to do that properly. And going off of that is, hey, as you're tracking your progress, maybe this is just your weights, body stats, once a week, you're seeing wins, you know, and these wins don't have to be just from the scale with losing weight. These wins could be, hey, I feel better. Hey, I'm, have more energy. Hey, maybe I'm lifting more weights in the gym and I'm getting these PRs. Paul, right? I'll call you out because I know you're listening to this right now. You mentioned, right, a little bit about working on your mindset on your check-in form that you submitted. And this is a great exercise for you to do is celebrating those wins. And I told you about a self-reflection exercise on your check-in video. So celebrating your wins is going to help you out tremendously with being more positive. And guys, remember, it's not just about seeing the weight go down on the scale. That's awesome if that happens to you, but remember, fat loss isn't linear. There's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, some plateaus. That's the inevitable. But you can always celebrate the wins if you look for them. So, what are some wins? Well, hey, I hit my protein goal every day. Hey, I did my non negotiables, right? My daily dues, my habits. Hey, maybe I, sent my friend that I haven't talked to in a while just a little gratitude text message. Or maybe I, happened to tell my wife, I love her and everything like this and showed her affection and spent quality time with her and whatever the case be. Maybe I did the dishes. Maybe I made my meals, right? Anything like that. You need to be celebrating your wins. This is hands down the best thing that you can do when it comes to building confidence. Okay. And if you're somebody that struggles with lacking confidence and you think like, oh man, if I just had six-pack abs, I would be more confident. The reality is you would not be more confident because you haven't embraced it, So how do you embrace it? You find the things that you can do over time, competence, right? The reps, and you're building up on that and you're seeing what you overcome. That's how you truly build confidence. Why do you think that bodybuilders who are, 5% body fat stepping on stage, they're like the most insecure people that's out there? Why? Because they get judged on literally a weekly basis based on how they look. They're constantly looking for their flaws and looking for their loopholes on where and how to make adjustments. So flip the switch, right? It's like celebrate your wins, not your, pinpointing the flaws. You're going to embrace and have more confidence. A lot of you guys know this, and just in case you don't, but I'm a former MMA fighter. I started MMA training when I was 16 years old, started fighting when I was 18. From 18 to 21, I had about 15 MMA fights, about 8 different boxing matches, handful of different Muay Thai competitions, jiu-jitsu tournaments galore, right? Still this day, I love training, right? Don't do the cage training so much, but jiu-jitsu, different things like that. I love it. I enjoy it. But here's the thing, okay? This is like the coolest story ever that I want to share with you guys, all about confidence and where it truly comes from. So, my last ever amateur MMA fight, I was versing this guy and he was undefeated. And I could not find anything about this guy at all. Like I'm trying to find film, I'm trying to find like what gym he goes to. I can't find anything. All I know is his record is like 9-0. He's undefeated. And so we were the main event, the last fight of the evening, and it was awesome, right? At the same time, I was nervous as can be because I had no idea who this guy was. So, I eventually see him at weigh-ins. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm a lot bigger than this guy who I normally was bigger than people because I would cut a significant amount of weight. But when we actually stepped in that ring together, I didn't know anything about this guy, but he had way better kickboxing skills than me. He kicked me so hard in my arm, I thought he broke it immediately. And then he kicked me again. I was like, he's going to break my arm if he continues to kick me. And I'm not a wrestler. I don't have a wrestling background or pedigree by any means. I do jujitsu, but once again, not really a good grappler in terms of my strong suits. So I end up bull rushing him, getting up against the cage, sneaking down, right, getting a double leg takedown on him. And immediately, right, I'm thinking like this dude just knows how to kickbox, right? Because I took him down pretty easily. What does he do? He gets me in the nastiest armbar ever. And like I'm hearing the pops, I'm hearing it crank, everything like this. And I'm looking around, like feeling myself like this is literally 30 seconds in the first round. Like all my friends, all my family came out here. This is gonna be embarrassment if I tap out to this dude who I couldn't even find any footage on. So in that split second, I had to think back about all my training, right? All the grinding, like the several competitions that I had, the several different fights I had, all these different things that I had to truly look back on and say, hey, listen, I've been stuck in this armbar plenty of times with other training people, with other coaches, all these different, um, progressions, right? To in my MMA career, let's not tap out. Let's focus our best to get out. So I do a little shimmy shake, right? I'm able to slip my elbow out. I eventually was able to get on top, side control, finish the fight in a guillotine choke, right? It's amazing, right? The fight ended in 55 seconds in the first round, hands down, probably like my best performance after my scariest performance of him almost breaking my arm and getting me in an armbar. But where did that confidence to not tap out come from? Did it come from, oh, I want to win? No, it came from, hey, I've been in this position before. I can get out of it. That's where true confidence comes from. So if you're not writing down your wins, if you're not celebrating your wins, if you're not taking a bigger picture in terms of where it is that you're coming from, right, and how you're overcoming some of those hardships and hurdles and challenges that life throws your way, you're missing out on a big piece to building self-confidence. Okay. So take note on that one because hands down, tracking your progress, celebrating your wins is one of my favorite things I can kind of share with you guys to start doing immediately and start doing daily as well. And remember, those wins are not just scale weight, just because I'm saying this is your health and fitness journey. This could be, mental, emotional, spiritual. This could be you hitting your protein goal, you doing the dishes, you spending quality time with your kids, anything like this. This is huge once you really start dialing in on this. And then lastly, lifestyle, not a diet. So typically when people come to me in terms of like, hey, Joe, I want to lose weight. I'm seeing all you guys have like, amazing transformations, da 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 da, right? And they're inquiring about our coaching program. One of the biggest questions that I typically ask them is, what do you feel like your biggest struggle is? Like what's kind of stopping you from reaching your goals? And I hear the same thing all the time. It's, I need to do a better job of sticking with a diet. And I immediately, as much as I say, kind of like stops them in their tracks and it might even break their heart at times. I'm like, you're never going to have success at reaching your goals if that is the reason why you feel like you're failing. Because let's go a little bit layer underneath the surface, right? So if right here is you feel like you're failing because you can't follow through with a diet, wrong mindset to have. Because what is a diet? It's a restriction. It's you're cutting something out. And if we actually had to take a look at this, right? D-I-E, die, T, right? Like nobody wants to follow through with a diet. And in fact, look up on Google. Why is it that 80 to 90% of diets fail? It's the same thing as if, let's just say somebody was going to go get weight loss surgery. Well, why is that typically a high failure rate as well? Because it's not a lifestyle change. If somebody got fat from eating, Burger King and McDonald's and milkshakes every single day for the past, 8+ years, immediately get liposuction and, weight loss surgery. Well, guess what? In 2, 3 years later, they didn't change their habits. They didn't change their lifestyle. So if they go back to eating what made them fat, they're going to regain all that fat right back. So if somebody has the mindset of, oh, I need to follow a diet, you're in such a restriction mode. And that's never going to last. Nobody can stick with something every single day for the rest of their life. It's not going to happen. It's not a perfect world just like that. So you need to flip the switch, and how to do so is mentally make it a lifestyle. Most of you guys know I don't care about carbs. I don't care about fats. And I tell you guys the same thing. Don't stress about that either. Should you be focusing on? Calories, protein. Why? Well, hey, you need to be in a certain calorie range to be in a healthy deficit. A lot of guys think it's calories in versus calories out, and they typically 9 times out of 10, they are under eating. So they're not actually putting in enough fuel into the tank, hence why their car is broken down on the side of the road. So flip the switch, right? Understand, have a healthy relationship with food. Food equals fuel, and focus on a healthy calorie range for your body type. And then second, focus on eating more protein. That's it. Bare minimum of protein, take your body weight, multiply it by 0.8. Bare minimum of protein, right? So that way you're not losing any lean muscle tissue. Do I recommend you do that? No. I recommend you having at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If you can do more, do it. It's higher up on the thermic effect of food. It's going to help you lose more body fat, help you develop more lean muscle tissue, help you with your metabolic rate. There's so many different health principles to eating more protein. And then with that being said, if you're able to hit your protein goal, and let's say you have 500 calories left, 800 calories left, 1,000 calories left, whatever, have fun with it. If you want to go eat a cheeseburger, if you want to go have some donuts, if you want to go drink some beer, do it. As long as it sticks within your calorie range and you're able to hit your protein goal, you're going to be perfectly fine. This is called the 80-20 rule. And this is how you simplify things. And just by applying that to your own lifestyle, it's going to help you stay more consistent. Most of you guys know I'm a donut connoisseur. So let's just say I decide to do keto, right? And let's say I'm an accountant. Okay. And let's say like where I work at in office, there's a bunch of cubicles. So I'm going on this health and fitness journey. I'm doing a ketogenic diet. I'm cutting out my carbs, everything like this. And I'm doing great. First week, I lose 3 pounds. Second week, I lose another couple pounds. Everything's going good. But then, let's just say that, me in my office setting, right? I'm an accountant, and it's like I failed on a project where I messed something up, and now my boss is like upset with me. And let's say the next cubicle over, it's Karen, right? And she's like an account manager or something like that. And it's her birthday. And everybody decides to like, bring in something nice for Karen. And oh, what are the odds? She likes donuts. And I love donuts too. So like Karen's over here living her best life. Like she has no stress because she's crushing it at work in terms of her, jobs. It's her birthday, everything like this. And so Karen's like, hey, Joe, you want a donut? I'm like, no, I'm not really, feeling it today. I'm on this diet, everything like this. Like, I got to stay diligent and whatnot. She's like, oh, okay. Well, hey, I'm going to go leave it in the break room. And let's just say that like my boss comes up, he rails me a new one. He yells at me. And next thing you know, it's like I'm underneath a lot of stress. Once again, like I messed up on this project. I'm underneath all this, hardship right now. A lot's going on my plates. So it's like, dude, I need a little break. I just need to go for a walk, cool off a little bit, right? I'm aggravated. I'm upset. So I decided to walk through the break room, right? Maybe I want to go to the restroom or something like that. And I happen to see these donuts that Karen left. Well, guess what? It's been maybe 3-4 weeks of me cutting out all sugar, me cutting out my favorite foods, everything like this. And I'm underneath all this stress. I'm just going to decide to have one donut, right? One's not going to kill me. Next thing you know, it's like, hey, as soon as I take that first bite, I smash that whole donut. I don't even taste it. That's how quickly I eat it. One is then going to turn into two. Two is then going to turn into three. Three is then going to turn to me pretty much eating like 8 donuts right there. And then on my way home, maybe me stopping at Mickey D's, right? Grabbing, a cheeseburger. Because like, hey, I'm underneath a bad day. Already had these donuts. Already got yelled at work, right? Might as well just put more gasoline on the fire. So stop, get some Mickey D's. Maybe for dinner, I have some, beer and pizza. And then guess what happens? The next day I wake up. I step on the scale, I regained all that weight right back, and now I'm looking at myself as a failure. And then I have the audacity to tell myself, oh, I just wasn't disciplined enough. I should have stuck harder to my diet. Like, no, right? I probably should have stopped dieting in the first place and instead focused on making a lifestyle change. And that is what our coaching program is all geared to do, is helping you guys when it comes to fitting this into your lifestyle. So that way you can consume those favorite foods. You can consume the alcohol. You can work out in a way that's actually enjoyable. And you're not doing like hit cardio 24/7 and you're hating your life doing endless and endless and endless amounts of cardio. So how do you make this work for you? Focus on making a lifestyle change and focus on creating better habits for yourself. And if you do that, I promise you, you're going to see a world of a difference. So let's just quickly recap here. These are the top five mindset tips for your health and fitness journey. Okay. Number one, you got to be fully committed. That's it, plain and simple. And the best way to become fully committed is have a goal and then reverse engineer as to why you want that goal. And I'm going to give you guys a big tip right here. Write out your deep rooted why. Don't just say, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. No. How about I want to lose 20 pounds so I have more energy to play with my kids. I can fit into my old favorite clothes again. I could live longer and I could be a role model and example for my kids, right? That's going to wake me up out of bed in the morning rather than just me trying to lose weight. So when you have a deep, deep, deep rooted why, write down on a sticky note, right? And put it on your bathroom mirror. If you guys do this, I promise you, you're going to be the most dedicated person each and every day for the rest of your life. Have it on your bathroom mirror, your deep rooted why. Every time you brush your teeth, read that. That's going to make you show up and be the best version that you can for that day. And in the evening time, because you should be brushing your teeth at least 2 times a day, right? Brush your teeth and look at that deep rooted why again and just ask yourself, this is called self accountability in a nutshell. Ask yourself this: did I show up today? Did I truly try to become better today than where I was yesterday? And if you start having more yeses throughout the course of the week, because maybe some days it's a no, that's the reality. Some days are good, some days are bad. But regardless, if you start having more yeses of you showing up, being better, you staying on track, guess what? Week and week and week and week progress, you are going to be in a better position than when you first got started. But it's all because you committed. And it was that deep rooted why that reminded you, why are we actually doing this? Second, right, is outcome versus the process. So you have your outcome, which is your goals, and then you have the process, which is the journey, right? It's amazing to have goals. It's better to focus on the process. What does that mean? Have your daily non-negotiables. Have your daily habits, your daily dues, whatever it is that you know that you can fully commit to it. If I'm going traveling, if I'm going out to eat, regardless, I know for a fact I can always do these things: push-ups, steps, and typically hitting a protein goal, right? If we're working on the mindset a little bit, I know for a fact I can close my eyes, cancel everything out, and visualize my goals for at least 5 minutes. Simple things like this that you can do every single day. Focus on the process, focus on checking the boxes. Third, start fresh every day. Remember, you're waking up with a heart full of gratitude and grace. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Past already happened. Nothing we can do about it. Future hasn't come here yet. Focus on what you can control. And every single day should be a blessing to you. So I immediately wake up. First thing I do before my feet even leave the bed is I'm saying a quick prayer, right? I'm blessed. I got to wake up today. So now how can I make today the best day of my life and show up to be the best version of myself? So I want to take full ownership of that. Fourth, track your progress and celebrate your wins. That was probably the longest that I talked to you guys in terms of all of these. I was telling you that story about confidence. And remember, if you're somebody that, let's say, you're not tracking your macros, not tracking your body stats, not tracking your workouts, you're not only hurting your own health and fitness journey in terms of your progress, you're hurting your own confidence. Because where you build up confidence from, it comes from competence, right? Your reps, your past. I love looking at, our clients' records and saying, wow, this person crushed it, all their workouts this week. This person hit their nutrition goals, right? Da 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 da. They might not see all that because maybe they're only focusing on the number on the scale, but that's why our weekly assessments, we do a deep dive into showing them how are they actually winning as a friendly reminder. And I recommend that you start doing that each and every day for yourself. What are the wins that you're doing? Hey, did you show up today? Awesome. Did you hit your protein goal today? Awesome. Did you work out today? Did you do some push-ups? Did you, spend some quality time with your family? Did you do the dishes? Did you make your bed, right? Like, did you brush your teeth, right? Like, did you meditate? Regardless, if you focus on this, and this is what I do every single, right, morning, gratitude, evening, self-reflection. It all starts with a gratitude journal. Costs $5 on Amazon. Best investment you will ever make for your mindset if you just start doing that. And then lastly, remember, if you want to have long-term success, have the mental mindset shift that this is a lifestyle, not a diet. A diet is something that's going to eventually die out. A diet is a restriction, right? Nobody has success when following a diet long term, right? It's typically quick fixes and fads. Change the mindset. Focus on the lifestyle. Focus on the importance of that. I share with you guys lots of tips, right? Calories, protein, the 80-20 rule. If you start mentally focusing and understanding that, hey, you can have a donut and still have six-pack abs, guess what? That's going to help you out tremendously rather than, oh, in order to have six-pack abs, I need to cut out the donuts. It's a mindset shift. But once you understand that, you're going to have a lot more peace and a lot more clarity. I promise you guys that.